Hello everyone, I am Tacet, and today we ended up getting the new kingdom in Gems of War of the Shentang Kingdom. This comes in with a +2 yellow, +1 red, -1 green banner. It also comes in with an HP bonus. Yes, it does say magic at the moment, but it is intended to be an HP and it will be fixed later on. So unfortunately we did not get another magic kingdom, not yet. But it is indeed an HP, and today we are going to be doing a key opening right now, and basically going over all 8 of the new troops. So let's start right into the key opening then. So we already did some gold keys earlier. I did that just to make sure that the chests were indeed working correctly, and they were. So let's just spam through these. We're probably not going to be able to see the noose thing pop up. Let's see if I can actually find them just by scrolling down. Well, we'll go over them after, because they're not going to pop up now, since I think I've actually gotten all 3 of the ones that are currently in it from when I was testing, because I just wanted to make sure to do it on the wimpy keys first, just to make sure that they were indeed working correctly. But let's just burn through all these gold keys. Gold keys at this current moment in time, unfortunately, don't really have anything too interesting in them, though we are getting more copies of the commons and rares from the new kingdom. But we're mainly going to be doing the glory and gem keys, maybe a few into the VIP keys. That is where everything is in. So let's get into those. One thing to note is that every single mythic is currently within the drop pool on these, so if we happen to get a mythic, it could be absolutely any mythic in the entire game. So we're just going to go through this and see what we get. Ooh, a Tesla. Not bad. I think I needed more copies of Spinneret. Yes, I did. That's actually pretty good. And the rest is basically useless to me, because we didn't get any of the new ultra rare, though I believe there are some ultra rares I'm still missing. What do we have here? Christinex, very nice troop, not one we need. Greenseer is going to be particularly good with one of these new troops. We'll see if we get her. Actually, I might have already gotten her. There we go, we're going up slightly. Also, by the way, Imp of Love is in the drop pool right now. Imp of Love is in the drop pool in February and March, if you don't already have them. Of course, with the Soul Forge, you can easily just get him via Soul Forge, but if you want to do it by other means, he is in the drop pool right now, so he's a interesting troop. He does split damage, and then does a charm. Actually, out of all of the imps, he is the highest damage output out of any of them, though not really that good overall. So we got this new one. We got the Penglong, the dragon, or basically, or I believe the only dragon from the kingdom. It's the 3rd, 4th tankiest dragon in the game, kind of mid-range. As far as its ability, it's just a cheaper version of an AoE. It deals damage to all enemies, boosted by enchanted allies at 2 times. This would normally be pretty bad being boosted by enchanted, but there are quite a few enchants in this kingdom that'll make it pretty easy to get those boost ratios. Nothing like a Dragon Soul kind of boost, but still, getting 8 additional damage full AoE is pretty nice to have. Can easily get countered by Dispel, though, since it is really dependent on having those enchants. And of course, anything on your team casting will get rid of it, and wow, we got lucky right there. Emperor Liang. We got it. Him? Her? Her. I think it's her. Very long hair. Yes. Proclamation. Destroy all gems of a chosen color. Give all allies of the matching color 16 life and 4 magic. Very, very insanely good troop for yellow and blue yellow and purple Guild War days, obviously, because if you're using a full team of that color, you'll get a huge life gain, and more importantly, that nice magic gain. It also gets to destroy mana for those, so you'll end up accumulating quite a bit if you have a spam. I'd probably use this on purple spam, most likely. Could maybe incorporate into a yellow day, since I'm most likely getting rid of famine starting next patch. One thing to note about all these new troops is they do have this mana shield thing. This will eventually be replaced next patch with a mana drain protection and a few other immunities. Just for now, they are having a mana shield until next patch comes around. One other thing to note about many of the troops in this new kingdom is they have this Transcend ability, which exchanges 2 life for 2 magic on 4 times or 5 times gem matches. I believe I'm not going to trait anything up yet. I'm not quite sure yet, because this can be quite a negative trait, even though most traits are supposed to be positive, because this can, I assume, kill it if it reaches all the way down to 0 life. So, for example, this will be around 60 life once we get it fully upgraded. If we take 30 extra turns without the enemy doing a single thing to us, we will die. Though, of course, having the extra magic would boost ratio, that life gain and stuff like that. So I guess in the case of this troop, I actually could go and trade it up, because it's just going to gain the life right back. Since it's exchanging life into magic, it's just going to get it right back off its ability. But in all other instances, do keep that in mind with trading every other thing that's not this one, because they will destroy their own life. And in all cases other than this one, you will not be able to get that life back, so do keep that in mind. But yeah, we already got one of the two we needed. I only want one copy of both of them for now. I do want two of the other one, but I want to do it off of event keys later on, so hopefully we can get that pretty early. We got really lucky on that first one, that's for sure. The Queen Isabel, not too bad. And hopefully we can get it without spending too much. We might even be able to do it without getting into any gems, which would be pretty nice. Let's see, Orion, Great Maul, come on, give us the legends we actually need. Or give us a mythic, too. That'd be cool if we randomly pull one. Though I'd much rather have the other new legend than a mythic right about now. But I will not complain about getting a random mythic drop, that is for sure. Well, we got a new one, not exactly what I need, but a Spear Master. He destroys a column, deals 17 true damage to the weakest enemy, boosted by Red Gem Destroyed. This is pretty similar to all the other ones that destroy a column, though despite having a higher mana cost than most of them, he does do true damage, and at a 2x boost ratio, he does get a lot better of a value out of that. This is mostly going to be a early game kind of troop. It also fills the Brown Void for early game too. Brown early game true damage doesn't really have too many options. Of course, late game you just use Corvash, but early game you don't really have too many other things to use except the Wolf Knight, which is very situational. But with this guy, you'll be able to use that. Also keep in mind he can gain a lot of additional damage off of this Transcend, which he exchanges life in exchange for additional magic. And since that's true damage, he could probably get a lot of one-shots. But do keep in mind, if you do trade him up to that point, he will possibly kill himself out due to the HP damage to him. This does seem like a pretty nice one to get Transcend on, though, because exchanging, let's say, like 20 of his life for 20 magic to be able to one-shot enemies, that is a pretty decent exchange, particularly earlier on in the game where that exchange actually will indeed get one-shots. Later on, not so much. But we did get him. Really nice. We were going to get him regardless. He's an ultra rare after all. Oh, there it is! There it is. It was bound to happen. If I'm not mistaken, we only did have one Oriali. Let me double check. But there's our first mythic. Let's see if we can actually get another one. Yes, that does indeed bring us to 2 Orialis, which brings yet another troop that we don't only have one copy of mythics. So we finally got another copy of her. There isn't a single team in the entire... Hey, someone just said grats. I'm pretty sure that was to us since we just got one. Too bad we already have one, though. But anyways, let's keep going. Also, I forgot to mention this. Do not open event keys. They are not in the current event key drop pool. They will not be until about 2 weeks from now. Not next week's event, but the following event. So do not open event keys. I forgot to mention that. Glory, that would have probably been good to mention earlier. Glory, Gem, Guild, and VIP chest. Normally the announcement says it, but there's currently no announcement at the moment. They'll probably get one up for that in a moment, or in the next hour or so. Okay, let's keep going. Umber Wolf, that's actually good if I'm not oh, never mind. I thought we didn't have a mythic yet. Actually, what we really need is, well, not just the new legend, but also a High Forge. I'm still one High Forge short of getting that to mythic. Queen Grapple Pot, we already have her max, don't need another. I'm not quite sure how far I'm going to be doing these glory keys too. We got a Moloch. What are we up to right now? I guess we'll do it down to about 5,000. And, oh, there's the High Forge I just mentioned. You know what we got to go do now? Let me go get that High Forge maxed. Everyone kept saying for me to just get it earlier. There was like 3 different times he was available. But that is exactly why I didn't want to get him. Because now we have him upgraded for free without spending any diamonds. And there we go. Also, next patch will probably be bringing easier ways to actually ascend stuff as well. So you might not necessarily need to go through all the obtaining of copies like we currently have to do. But anyways, let's keep going through. Keep getting glory keys. Also, next patch is really close around the corner. For any of you that don't know yet, it's probably next week most likely. Come on, 2 Garnox, really? Out of everything you could have given, 2 Garnox. What are these drop pools? Another Moloch. Or was that 2? I didn't even see. Oh, another... Well, that's not the one I wanted 2 copies of, but I guess we got her. Yeah, I guess... Well, there's really no need to have 2 copies of her. Oh well, we got 2 copies now. I guess that's a good thing in a way, but... we're going to be mythicking it regardless. Oh, we got another one of him. I believe we only had 1 copy. That was the guy who came out the week I was on vacation. I barely even went over him, mainly because he's such dead content. But yeah, can we get 1 copy of the new guy? The other new one. I actually want 2 copies of the other one, but we did it the other way around. Oh, another King Salinas. I actually do need more copies of him. Don't believe that's mythic yet. And that's the last 200. And that brings us to nothing. So let's go open all of our gem keys, and then if we have to, go into some VIP chests. So we'll open this up. Why? A third one. A third one. Why? I'll exchange 2 of them for 2 of the other. Go. Well, maybe we'll get 1 copy of him yet. Come on. Nope. Let's do 50 at a time. Our last keys. 50. 50. Give me Imp of Loves. I need, like, 2 of the other Imp. And that's it. Oops. Oh, we're down to 10s, apparently. Another 10. And can we get it off the last 4? No. Okay. I don't want to burn through too many gems right now. Let's throw 50 and hope we get lucky. Okay, let's open them somewhat slowly. Actually, let's do it this way. Wait, can I not click to skip it? Oops, I skipped past it too quickly. That could have been something. Why is it not skipping them properly? Okay, we're just going to skip it completely. I wanted to do it one by one, but it's not doing a quick one by one. Oh, I see. You just have to do that real quick. Why must you click there? That's weird. Okay. We'll do it this way for a little bit. If we don't see something, we're just going to click skip. Because the only problem with doing it this way, I'm probably just going to click skip, is it brings up a lot of the gold and a lot of these trait stones. But it's going to take forever before it actually runs into the troops. Or it sometimes might actually bring up troops, so we might just skip them. Well, we got a Queen Aurora, 2 mythics, another Glitter Claw. I already had enough of them, though. How many Queen Auroras do we have? Do I need to go make a triple Queen Aurora team or something? But we got a Queen Aurora. Nothing... So we got 2 mythics so far. Really nice. Unfortunately, we did not get the new legend yet. I guess I'll have to throw one last one, and if we don't get it now, I'm not quite sure what we'll do about that. Maybe I'll burn through all my glory keys, because starting next patch, we might not actually need to keep my glory keys anymore. So yeah, I might just have to burn through all the glory keys then if we don't get it right here. So sorry, gems, you're going down. And we're just going to skip it. No, we didn't get it. A bunch of useless stuff. So I'm not even going to keep going. Nope, nope, nope. And let's just hope we get off the glory keys. Come on, pure luck. Will this be the first time we don't get a new troop? It might be. We have 3 copies of one, but 0 copies of the other somehow. That is quite unfortunate. There we go! Well, that took way too many resources. But, you know what? I might as well go through all the glory keys at this point. Might as well keep going. This is the guy I really wanted. Deals damage to the first 2 enemies, so basically like a Corvash, except normal damage. Boosted by his life. So, kind of like a Ketris in a way, except full damage to 2 instead of full damage to 1 and then half damage to 2. So basically it does the same amount of damage as a Ketris, except it does it all on 2 troops instead of 3, which in most cases is going to be better, especially since it hits the front line. It's boost ratioed off of its life, so you can still feed it a bunch of life, which is a lot more convenient, since you don't have to worry about a lot of stats. You can just keep spamming the life gains like Lady Ordinario and the several other options. It steals magic too, which means it accumulates that magic, meaning it, assuming that they have any magic to steal, which in almost every instance they will, that's 8 additional damage after every single cast. So he'll do his normal damage the first time, but then both of his hits will do additional 8 damage every single time, and not only is he lowering down their magic-based damage, but he's increasing his own by 8 every time, so very nice with that. And he also transforms all purple to red. Is there anything else that currently does that? I don't believe there is, not that I recall of, but that's pretty good for red spamming just in general. Also for obviously countering out purples. He's a red-green too, which is a pretty nice combination to have with a red convert. Normally, pure red spam teams miss a really good red-green. Ward Breaker is normally used because there's very few other options, but Ward Breaker doesn't really loop, he mainly just board clears, which can loop, but this guy actually has a transform, which will be really good with things like Hellcat and other red spammers that are now going to be able to build an entire team around him. Ideally, I want 2 copies of him though, so I'm going to keep going. The event for him isn't until like another 10 weeks, so whatever we have now, we won't be able to get more until like another 10 weeks from now. Or we still could, but I'm not going to be opening any keys. But before then, and look at that luck! Wow, okay. Wow, I shouldn't have opened all those VIP chests. All we had to do was open like 100 glory, and there we go. A second copy of him, so we did really good this time around. Wow. Well, not the VIP chest. The VIP chest actually did horrible this time around, but everything else, pretty nice. Not complaining. 2 mythics as well. We got a Queen Aurora, and I believe that brings us to 3 Queen Auroras, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, Queen... Oh, I need to go build a team later with 3 plus 1 troop. That has to happen. Okay, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, let's go into all the Shentang troops now and go over them briefly real quick and just kind of summarize what they do. I'm going to make this pretty quick. We'll be covering it more in the future as far as actual... Wait, I'm missing one. Hold up. Is there one not in the drop pool right now? What's unowned? That or we got super unlucky on one. We somehow got all the legends but missed one if otherwise. Is she not in the drop pool or did we just get that unlucky? I'm not quite sure. It's one or the other. That or this kingdom only has 7 troops at the moment. One of the two. This was actually the Alchemist I was talking about. I might as well go over her first. This is basically going to be the Alchemist replacement in many teams. It's not going to replace out the Alchemist Hellcat combo, but in most other instances that you would randomly plop a Alchemist into your team, she's basically going to be replacing that now. She transforms a chosen color to yellow, which is of course exactly what Alchemist does, just for a 3 higher mana cost. But then it does one of the following. Only one. It enchants all allies, which I assume is also itself, or increases all allies' magic by her magic, which I also assume hits herself, or it cleanses all allies. So all three of those are absolutely amazing. Of course, which one she'll do is completely random, so, but if you get her into a loop, she's going to keep going by them over and over again. And yeah, you can just loop it into a green seer, and you can just keep converting the yellow to, or anything into yellow, and then have the green seer convert anything into green, and then you just keep getting a loop out of that. You'll get the entire enemy team entangled, you'll have mass cleanse for your team, you'll have mass magic gain for your team, and you'll have mass enchant for your team, which the enchant aspect of it won't really be that useful given the situation of how much you'll be looping. But the other two aspects definitely will be, particularly the magic gain. As far as that, traits are mainly just to transcend. I'm probably not going to trade it, mainly because with a troop like this, I believe transcend will really hurt it. So this would be one of those troops that I would say actually don't get transcend. I think it will be weaker, not stronger. I'll probably just get its first trait and that's it. I believe next patch you can also target specific traits. So if that's so, we'll get the first trait, the third trait, and then never give it transcend. I would highly advise not getting that trait on it. That is one of the few troops that is going to be horrifically bad with it. There are some instances where it would want a trait, but there's so many instances where it wouldn't that you probably wouldn't want to actually get it at all. But anyways, let me go into the kingdom and show the 7 that we do have. I'm not actually sure if she's not in the drop pool or what, but if she isn't, maybe wait a little while. They'll probably fix that later. And if you did open them beforehand, just send a support ticket. They'll probably do something. It could be that we just got unlucky, though I think that's really unlikely since we got 9 copies of the other ultra rare, meaning we should have gotten at least like 3, 4, 5 copies of her. But yeah, just send a support ticket. They'll probably fix that. Anyways, yeah, we got both the 2 new legends. I got 2 of the one I wanted in like 100 glory keys, which that would have happened before we did the VIP chest, but oh well. I'm not going to upgrade them all at the moment, but let's just go through every single one. So Emperor Lang, we kind of already went over. It's going to be really good on Yellow-Purple Guild War days, gives a lot of life, is worth getting all the traits on. Monkey Disciple, it's kind of like a, it's half Lady Ornerial, half Mantis. It creates 7 red, 7 yellow, and then give all allies a bunch of life. It also has Swift, so you can get up really quick. Going to be pretty good for generating those manas. It is a green-blue, though, so there's quite a few other green-blues that are way superior to this guy, but he's only a rare, so for early game, going to be pretty good. Also, a really good early game life spammer. There aren't really too many options for that. I believe Lady Ornerial is the cheapest current viable one. So now that this guy came in as a rare, that's going to be pretty nice if you don't have any other options. Pigong, I kind of already went over earlier. It's basically just a mid-range dragon that is somewhat tanky, while that just has basically a general AoE that happens to boost based on enchants. Really good if you have one of the really good enchant spammers, which is that new divine one that we got 0 copies of, as well as Emperor Liang. Spearmaster, as I already mentioned, really good true damage. It does automatically hit the weakest, which is the same thing that a Miststalker does, but he's going to be able to stack out a lot of additional damage off of Transcend. Going to be particularly good towards the lower level range. Basically everything he touches will die in one shot. He will not get a boost like Miststalker does, but he has board control, so even though he has a higher mana cost, he's technically going to gain more mana than what a Miststalker does due to that board control. Spellblade is another pretty early game kind of troop. Really high single target if you can get a lot of enchants. It deals damage to an enemy, boosted by all enchanted allies, and then enchants a random ally. Also, for any of you that don't know, what enchant does is give you 2 mana per turn until you cast your ability. So basically forever. If you do get mana drained, the enchant still stays, but if you dispel or cast any ability, it will remove it from you. But yeah, it can get a potential of 20 additional damage. I guess a okay early game one-shotting troop. If you can actually get those enchants. For the most part, pretty much going to be dead content, though. Out of everything in this kingdom, I do have to say that Spellblade is probably the worst, and the only one that's really not going to be used at all. It has Transcend, but again, this is one that wouldn't really gain much of a value from Transcend. Spearmaster Marso, her pretty much no particular use. Before I go into that guy again, we have this little guy, the I don't even want to know how to pronounce that. Cianiano? Is that H silent? Cianio? I'll figure out new ways to mispronounce it later. It's basically a rockworm. It deals damage to a random enemy, or except of hitting the last slot, hits a random enemy. and then poisons them, which is better than a rock worm, though I believe its overall damage is slightly lower, and then creates 7 green, similar to how a rock worm creates 7 browns. One nice feature about this guy, though, that the rockworm does not have is it starts with half mana, meaning you can get it up even quicker if you are using 2 or 3 of them. Going to be a pretty good early game kind of spam troop, using like 3 of them with a dryad or some kind of other strange combo. It can randomly loop infinitely. Not the most viable of things, but it's going to be very similarly used to that of a rockworm, and might even be more potent than a rockworm given its fast trait. And other than that, the main one I actually wanted, and my personal favorite out of the actual abilities, kind of reminds me of Gendorf from the Legend of Zelda, but deals damage to the first 2 enemies boosted by his life. So basically, it catches a bull that's focused on 2 troops instead of 3. Has that nice magic steal. It's going to gain that. It is steel, so it does indeed gain that magic. And it has that nice transform, which really fills that gap into green-red, which is going to make it really, really potent in Red Day. It's also going to have that really unique mana shield trait. So it's going to have immune to mana drain, immune to mana burn, I think one other thing next patch. And I didn't go over this thing. This was also another factor, and the whole reason why I actually wanted 2 of them as well. It's basically like Death's trait, except better. It steals 3 life, which means he gains it, from the first enemy when matching red gems. So again, with the whole red spam thing, this will make it so he constantly steals life from the opposing team. If you have 2 of them, you are stealing 6 life from the frontline troop of the opposing team every single time you take a red. That is a lot of value, and since you can spam that infinitely, it's going to be very similar to Kraken and how much damage output you can actually do. It's going to be less damage overall than Kraken, but it is true damage, and it's focused on the front line, and since his ability is also focused on the front line, works in pretty good synergy, and since he also boosts ratios off of that life, every single time he takes a red, he's basically also gaining 1 damage off his ability, since he has a 3-to-1 boost ratio, and he's stealing 3 life. He's gaining 1 additional damage each time. He's also probably the first troop actually added with Inferno Armor that is actually useful with Inferno Armor, because he is going to have a pretty durable life. Not necessarily something you would throw in first slot, but definitely a really solid second slot troop if you're only using 1 on the team. But yeah, I'm really looking forward in using this guy probably the most. Of course, a good majority of these I'm actually looking forward to using. Everything except Spellblade. Really good round of troops this time around, I do have to say. And the 2 that are coming in with the following event, not next week, but the following week, are going to be based on the new minigame as well, which is going to be kind of cool. But anyways, guys, that will wrap it up for this key opening. If you still have any other questions about any of these troops or anything in general, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. These next 2 days from our streams and everything, we will be heavily going over various teams and stuff for these new troops, messing around with them and just kind of having fun with them. And of course, our streams are at the normal times as always, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Fridays and Saturdays, and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every single night, where we do the Guild War battles, some dungeons, and all that kind of stuff. And we'll be, of course, messing very heavily with these. But anyways, guys, hope you all enjoyed. Still have any questions, leave them. And I hope you all have the best of luck with your key openings, and have a wonderful rest of your weekend. Goodbye, everyone.